So what does communications look like when you're doing these projects? How do you engage with the public? What are you asking them to do, or what are you telling them?
Yeah, so I'm in a unique position for one of my projects where I'm actually in a very customer-facing role because I am in charge of what we call the lead service line hotline. We have this number that we're sending out on all of our flyers, postcards, fact sheets, etc., that we're sending out to the public, and they can call it when they have questions about this lead service line replacement program that's going on in their neighborhood. We've received over 300 calls from the public, probably upwards of 400, I think now, with people just calling in for more information. Honestly, I feel like I have built a relationship with some customers that have called me, 6 or 7 times, and I have gone to community meetings where they have said to me, "Oh, I think I spoke to, you're Lauren, right? I think I spoke to you on the phone."
I know, to be on a first name basis with your audience.
Yes, there are definitely some that they call me and they go, "Hi Lauren, I have another question." It's been a very interesting perspective to hear on a day-to-day basis what people are calling and concerned about. I do go through and I pretty much have figured out a way that I have like 10 or so categories that I can categorize each, call by topic.
Yes.
And I've talked to other individuals who are on different, lead service line replacement projects about this data and have, just shown it to them, like just briefly, and they said, "Wow, this is really good information to know when when we are also, looking to start this," so they can have just, a little jump on everything and inform it themselves. Irie, I know you're so great at facilitation. Can you tell me a little bit more about just like what that process entails and how you use it when it comes to your projects and just engaging with the community?
Yeah, so facilitation, I think of it as helping people work through issues or challenges that they're having and helping them find a solution. And so sometimes those challenges are, how do we define this problem? I love to ask questions, and usually those questions are about making sure that we're on the same page about what our objectives are, what our goals are, and the problem that we're trying to solve. And then I start to think through, okay, who are we actually talking to? Is it people who are familiar with this topic? Is it people who are brand new to the topic? How can we get to our objectives, to this audience, and bridge that gap through focused exercises that will bring out the information that we need? One of my favorite tools to use is Mural. It's a virtual whiteboard. There's also Miro. There's a few other virtual whiteboards that you can use. And it's a way to set up exercises where people can actually interact with it if they're virtually, so they can like create virtual sticky notes and move them around. Sometimes if people can just kind of see what we're working with, see thoughts, ideas, put them somewhere where we can all look at them, move them around and say, I didn't really think that was our objective, but now that I see it, okay, I'm on board with that. I think one of the biggest things about facilitation is just making things more transparent so we can actually get at the problem that we're trying to solve and find a solution.
So I spent the past 2 years before coming over here at CDM Smith as part of a market research firm that focused on the water market. I was looking at everything from like what's going on with our pipes, what's going on with PFAS, and all of these different more technical, research-heavy type of workload. Rose Hansen, who's one of our one of our team members, has become such, a guide to me throughout this, transition for me into this role as I continue to grow.
Working with this team of communications professionals from across the country at CDM Smith has been so important for me to grow the depth and breadth of knowledge that I have in communications. I talk to them and learn about different resources that we have within CDM Smith, about different tools that are available. So I could just ask them, hey, I need to do a survey that has complicated skip logic. What's your favorite survey platform to use? And I get an answer within minutes. Being around people who are constantly working to up-level their knowledge and grow their skills has been really great for me. And people who are willing to loop me in and bring me into projects where I can learn or where I can contribute and mentor or teach other people has really been helpful for me. I also learn a lot from our technical teams. I used to say about myself that I'm not a detail person, I'm not a numbers person, but it turns out that I actually am. I love a process, and I love working with our teams to document processes. So let's think about what is the actual user journey of the participants that we're going to have in this program, or what process are they going to have to do. I love to let's write it out, let's visualize it, let's make it better now that we're all looking at it. And I've learned a lot of those processes from some of our engineers or our planners, and really how to think through how data and communications can really talk to each other. So we get the metrics, we get the research, how does that influence communication? The feedback that we get from interested groups or different audiences, the general public, how can that then influence the research that our technical teams are doing and the studies that they're working on? So that constant flow of information has been really interesting to be a part of, and I think has helped me grow personally and professionally.